Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So tonight, Aquarius, we have the Ace of Swords, which has everything to do with air and mind and innovation and creativity and gathering up those mental resources to do what? I don't know. What do you have your heart set on, right? What do you have your mind set on? Now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to knock. And we're going to see what the tea leaves want to show us today. And I want to tell you, thank you for deciding to click on this reading. It is a true pleasure for me to be able to bring these messages to you. And so, yeah, thank you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. And we'll get started. All right. So we have a person right here. You can see the body, and here's the head. We have another person right in front. You have the head. We have their arm extended out. We have maybe a skirt or a dress of some kind, a robe possibly. Now we have an animal over here. It looks like a cat. It kind of reminds me of my cat, TT. We have a hairless cat over here. She's about 9 years old, I guess. It's somewhere around there. And she is quite the character. So I'm looking at this and I feel like there is a sense of kind of going between wanting to be kind of partnered up with somebody. It doesn't have to be romantic, but a sense of companionship. Going between that and loving to be by yourself. And I think that you're trying to find a nice balance between these two places, right? Always being like the solitary, I do what I want, kind of cat, feline energy, or being, you know, kind of the other half of a whole. And that's, you know, and I feel like this is something that you desire, but when you're in it, even if it is wonderful, there's still that like nagging sense of, I want to be by myself, right? And so I do feel like this is something that maybe things have been thrown off balance a little bit. You are in a place where you're kind of trying to decide which way do I go here, right? Kind of realigning things, adjusting, and so on. So I feel like this is going to be some important work for you. I think, you know, whatever has happened, maybe it's more time with the friend, maybe it's less time. Maybe, you know, you're just going through that deep winter vibe if you're in the northern hemisphere, maybe in the southern hemisphere as well, that deep summer vibe of just wanting to be on your own for a while, right? I mean, I know I'm a pretty solitary person in general, but this time of year, ooh, I would love to just go the whole day without having to speak to anybody every once in a while, right? Every once in a while. Not every single day, I guess, but you know, it's nice to kind of just be able to dwell in that slow down, right? In that place where you can just kind of lead your own way. So I want to turn this a little bit. So it feels like we have something to do with the yard. Now, maybe this is the yard at your home. Maybe this is kind of an area that you like to go to. It almost kind of reminds me of I get this feeling of being outside with like a little fence and a yard and playing and the neighbor kids and, you know, taking off on bikes down the street and going on wild adventures. And we also have a bird right up here with a nest. Up here it looks like we have probably a witch riding on a broom. I feel like this is kind of a nostalgic time in your life, probably when you were younger. I feel a real sense of having a lot of freedom as a child. Maybe your parents both worked, or you know, maybe you were being babysat, you know, by like grandma and she let you run wild, or, you know, whatever it was. But I feel like you spent a lot of time by yourself wandering. You also spent a lot of time with the other peers in your area, your neighborhood. And again, that kind of duality there of being very social, but also being perfectly fine in this kind of solitary posture, right? And so I also feel at this younger age, you started to notice that maybe you were a little different. I feel like this is very much centered around your ability to see. And that is, I mean, you know, I think that you probably have visions, very vivid dreams. I think that you are somebody who reads people very well. I think that at times probably people even think it's a little bit uncanny how perceptive you are. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you did spend a lot of time by yourself, and you did pay attention to the details of things. You were observing constantly. But the other side of it is I think that you also are a natural practitioner, and you have the gifts. I don't even think it's one. I think it's multiple kinds of clairvoyance or mediumship, or, you know, you're very tuned into things. Now, I do feel like you left where you grew up, most likely. I think that you've probably moved around a little bit. I believe that you have at times really romanticized where you come from, and I think that you also think about going home. Although I don't really see that as being something that is very serious, right? I think you have these longings, but you know that it's not necessarily the locality so much as the circumstances, right? You know, I think often we think of our childhoods, even if we've had difficult childhood. You know, even myself, I went through a lot as a kid. It was awful, but I still think about specific things that I long for that in some way. And so I feel like you know that this is a lot about being young, being free, not having a lot of responsibilities. Exploring the world, seeing things through the eyes of somebody who is not, you know, super jaded or cynical about the world yet. And I do feel, you know, instead of really seeking out to recreate this exact thing, I see you trying to figure out how to kind of unburden yourself from some of the conditioning, some of the traumas and bad times, the things that you've been through that have maybe at times made life a little difficult, and maybe you're a little more careful, and, you know, you're not willing to go too far out of what you know and all of that. But I feel like in this period of time, there really is a movement towards becoming more open again. Trying to get back to that place where you can look at the world with wonder, where you can experience that awe again. And I think a lot of this has to do with leaning into that magic, allowing yourself to really truly believe that you are gifted, right? Not this kind of like, oh, it's a coincidence, or, oh, I'm just really good at noticing patterns or how people behave, or, you know, whatever. No, you have a gift. And I think that if you spend time with that, not only does it grow your confidence, and also, you know, it's like anything else, like any kind of skill that we might obtain in our life, you have to practice, right? You have to put it to use. And I really see you focused on this, exactly this, okay? Now we also have the letter T, and we have the number 22. 22, okay? Now I'm gonna come over here and we'll take a look. So we have somebody with an A name. It almost looks like AJ, maybe. An AJ or just A. It could just be A. So we have the chicken, the rooster. The rooster is often an alarm. But I feel like this isn't a bad one. This is like money is going to be coming in. And that's really what it's... There's a fish over here. There's the rooster. And I feel like it's going to be within the creative. Because we have the person and we have the moon up here. And I absolutely, I feel like this is you getting creative and finding a way to make money with it. We have in between the hands, we have the eye right there. So I feel like the big thing is, I feel like you are almost like a purist. Like you want to make things, but you don't want to make it for other people. You make it for yourself. You make it for your own experience and processing. And, you know, sometimes it's just like we have stuff in us. We have stuff in us, right? And you just have to get it out. You can't carry it with you anymore. And so I do. I feel like the muse is right there with you. You are creating. You are finding that whatever it is that you make, or maybe you bake or paint pictures, or, you know, make beautiful flower arrangements, or whatever it is. I see you during the spiritual journey really finding that passion again. And when you get back into that thing that you are so good at and feels very, as I think about it, it feels very enjoyable. Like you just have a nice time doing it, right? And to be able to also make money, that's a beautiful thing. So I do. I think that working on the interior things, honing your abilities, right? We talked about that clairvoyance. And then allowing yourself to really get into something that you love to do. It all comes together, right? I don't care if it's crocheting or, you know, I don't even know what else. What else is there? Taxidermy, or maybe you're really good at doing startups, or, you know, whatever, making apps, or I don't know. Do people still do that? You know, whatever it might be. But I see you on the spiritual journey able to really put a lot of energy into the work that you want to do, and it turns around because it's blessed with that energetic flow that you are really getting going through the spiritual work. And that's exactly what unlocks the door so that you can be making some kind of money from it all, okay? All right, so we're going to do 3 lucky numbers. Number 33, number 33, number 2, 33, 2, and 6. No, I was going to say 6. No, it's 90 and 90. All right, now we're going to do our self-care affirmation cards. I'm going to go ahead and flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. And it says, feast of gratitude. I savor the sweet moments of life. I taste the beauty of my days, and my stomach is full of gratitude for every moment. For every moment. All right. Well, Aquarius, I think that's it. I know this has been a short one. Sometimes they are. Sometimes it's just like there's the message and here we are. So I just want to tell you thank you again. I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, we'll talk in a few days. Again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk soon.